How does something so complex, so utterly revolutionary, succeed in one impossible feat, only to falter dramatically in another? This is the core paradox of Starship Flight 12, a cosmic drama that unfurled across the void on May 22, 2026. It was a mission that whispered of triumph in one breath, and then roared with the brute force of mechanical failure in the next. Ship 39's journey revealed the paradoxical nature of progress within spaceflight. The mastery of one domain often exposes brutal, unforgiving challenges in another. The radiant heart of this mission, its undeniable triumph, was the heat shield. Under the hypersonic re-entry conditions, the V3 hardware demonstrated a critical success for rapid reusability, absolutely no burn-throughs. Ship 39, draped in approximately 18,000 hexagonal silica-based ceramic tiles, returned to us. They were uniformly charred, as expected, but critically, they remained unbroken. Each tile, coated in black borosilicate glass and sealed by its proprietary crunch wrap filler, stayed mechanically mounted to its studs, accommodating the massive thermal expansion of the stainless steel hull. Beneath this primary defense, a flexible ceramic fiber blanket stood as a final guard. The blunt body design and powerful bow shock pushed the hottest plasma away, a fundamental strategy for survival in such extreme conditions. This was a structural stress test, pushing rear flaps at Mach 7, a challenge earlier Starship variants would have failed completely. In a calculated defiance of risk, one tile was intentionally removed, others painted white, all for testing aerodynamic loads and imaging. This starkly contrasts the Orion heat shield, whose 186 avcoat blocks are designed for consumption, and showed unexpected wear in over 100 locations on Artemis 1, forcing NASA to modify Artemis 2's trajectory to a steeper, no-skip re-entry. It also stands apart from the Space Shuttle's 24,000-plus manually inspected tiles, which tragically led to the Columbia disaster, or Dream Chaser's 2,000 tiles, facing similar brittle challenges. Starship's heat shield validation, even remotely scanned by 2 Starlink satellites in orbit to test a same-day reflight pipeline, was an awe-inspiring step towards repeated voyages. Yet, the cosmos demands more than a flawless shield. The descent into the Indian Ocean was a chaotic ballet, a brutal unraveling of control. The landing sequence became unstable, marked by aggressive pitching and rolling, culminating in a dramatic pirouette just before splashdown. This ordeal, this trauma, began subtly during the ascent. The loss of one of Ship 39's 3 Raptor vacuum engines, accompanied by visible fuel leakage. Though the remaining engines extended their burn durations heroically to maintain trajectory, the off-nominal path forced a modified re-entry profile. It involved an unusual aerodynamic skipping technique at 68 to 70 kilometers altitude, designed to generate lift, extend glide, and arrest descent. The final landing burn, relying on only 2, and then just 1 sea-level Raptor engine, severely reduced control margins and roll authority. This meant marginal attitude control and violent oscillations plagued the ship. Analysts now suggest the root problem traced back further, to the ascent itself, the lost engine, the extended burns, the potential leaks, and a likely skipped re-entry burn demonstration. All of this left excess propellant high in the header tanks. This shifted the center of mass upward, creating a profound, unavoidable handling penalty that directly contributed to Ship 39's less stable, harder to control flip and landing. The enormous size of Starship, and its inherently less stable aerodynamic regime, compared to its super heavy booster, mean that while Flight 13 will follow a similar suborbital profile, a realistic catch attempt remains distant, perhaps not before Flight 15 or even 16. Flight 12 was a brutal lesson in the interwoven nature of triumph and trauma. We've learned to engineer materials that can touch the inferno and emerge unscathed, but the very act of reaching for the stars fundamentally alters the balance of what we bring back to Earth. What other unseen forces shift, or become amplified, as we continue this defiant dance with the unforgiving laws of the universe?